Hey, good morning, it's Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Wanted to talk again about a blog I did a few years ago, and one of the most common questions and concerns I get from my sellers when they call me up to sell their home. And that's the transition between selling their existing home and buying a new home. Because most people that I deal with, not all, but I'd say 75% that call me up, they want to sell their home, but they want to buy a new home. They either want to move to a bigger home, or maybe they're downsizing, whatever. So the biggest concern is, well, how does this work? We want to sell our house and we want to buy a new house. I'm worried about, not being able to find something from the time we sell our house, once we sell our house. So what I want to do, when I sit down with them, they tell me, oh, and we want you to find us a new house first, and then we'll put an offer in on it as subject to sale of our house, which then we'll list. And I have to tell them that would be nice if we could do it, but in a market like this, that's really a pretty strong seller's market for the most part, but even when it's a balanced market, doing a subject to sale is not going to give you the best results, especially not when it comes to price, because very few sellers are going to want to take a subject to sale. If they've got a good quality house and it's priced right, they're going to be getting a lot of action on that house. Why would they want to take the house off the market, accept your offer, and then wait for you to sell your place? It doesn't make any sense. Unless you want to offer $100,000 over asking, then maybe they might take a look at it. But the other thing is, once you do a subject to sale, now you've got an awful lot of pressure on you to sell your house quickly, and you may not get top dollar for the house you're selling. So there's really only a couple of ways to do this. The best way to do it, and the most stress-free way, is, if you can, buy your new house, complete on it, close on it, and then list your house for sale. But this is extremely difficult. The banks, you've got to have some pretty good financial situation to be able to do that. Because naturally, if you're carrying two mortgages now, essentially. Now, maybe you're lucky enough that the house you're selling is free title, you don't have a mortgage on it, maybe you can do it. I did have a client this past spring that we were able to do that. He bought an older house that he was going to renovate, closed on this new house, and then we listed his existing house, which was pretty much mortgage free. So the banks allowed him to do that. He had the financial wherewithal. But for most people, it's very difficult to do. So the best thing to do is first list your house, priority number one, and get maximum selling price for it. That should be your number one priority. Then once you've got an accepted offer, we'll try and extend those closing dates out as long as possible. Now, typical closing dates when someone buys a house is usually 5 to 6 weeks from the time the subjects are removed till the time they take possession. Let's see if we can extend it out maybe to 10 weeks, which buys us 2.5 months now to sell your place and now find a new one. So it buys us a little bit more time. And once you have an accepted offer on a property, you can usually get what's called bridge or interim financing, because now we could try and find you a new house and close on it maybe 3 or 4 days before your house we just sold closes. Because the banks know that you've got an accepted offer, you're going to be getting $700,000 or $800,000 for your home on this date, then sure, we'll lend you the money 4 days prior to that to close on your new house. You'll carry two mortgages for a couple of 4 or 5 days there, but you're good for it. So if you've got the financial wherewithal, usually you can do that once you've got an accepted offer. But I also recommend to people that you have a plan B, and that plan B would be, if we can't find you a house in the 10 weeks there from the time we've got an accepted offer on your house, then you should have a plan B. You may need to put some stuff in storage. You may have to get a short-term rental on a month-to-month basis or a 6-month lease. You need a backup plan. Now, but it goes back to what I said earlier. Number one priority is to list your current house. Let me get you maximum selling price for it. If I can get you $20,000 more for your house by selling it in a timely manner and properly marketing it, that extra $20,000 is going to buy you 5 or 6 months worth of rent, if need be, if we have to go to that plan B. And then we've got 5 or 6 months now to slowly see what comes on the market. When the right house comes, we can put an offer in on it and close on it fairly quickly. So those are the options, and none of them are, Plan B and Plan C are pretty stressful. You've got an accepted offer on your house, and now the clock is ticking for you to find another house. But unless you've got the wherewithal and can buy your new house up front and still keep your old one, it's really the only option you've got. It can be stressful. You might have a few sleepless nights. But what I can tell you is 10 years from now, when you look back on it, you'll forget about the whole stress you went through. But there really isn't any magic pill with it. There is going to be some uncertainty and some stress between the transition between selling your existing home and buying a new one. But we can do everything we can to try and mitigate that stress. What I find, usually it works out in the end, but that's how it goes. Anyways, I'm Owen Bigland. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.